First of all, we'd all like to say congratulations for your nomination in that. So it was a small business award, wasn't it? That's fantastic. And
Thank you so much. It was an amazing surprise to be a finalist for Inspirational Hampshire Business of the Year for the Maven Awards. It was amazing. Yeah, I was there on a supportive basis, so it was a lovely surprise.
Really lovely. And so what were you being awarded for your help with cooking?
Yeah, so for Good Everyone's Kitchen, it was nominated several times for most small inspirational business in Hampshire, which is amazing.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Well done. It's nice, isn't it, when you get recognition for what you're doing and what you're passionate about, because you really are passionate about it.
Yeah, it is. And you work tirelessly, and because you're so passionate and because you want to build a community and support others and have a huge impact. And sometimes you do that blindly, not really knowing if you do make an impact. I think when you do get someone saying something, it's recognition that actually you're being seen and heard.
You are being seen and heard, Katie. That's so wonderful. And not just by your amazing brood of 5 children you told me you had.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about your youngest daughter and a friend of hers sharing that she didn't feel very well. And your little daughter said, got to eat the rainbow, eat less beige food.
She said, maybe it's something to do with the beige food that you eat. Try eating the rainbow and maybe you'll feel a bit better. That's what I do.
That is so lovely, so sweet. And she also has been teased about not eating sausages.
She's thinking about, yes, not eating sausages and choosing what the children find as the wrong thing at the lunch in the dinner hall. And she's really bold and really confident in how she feels about nutrition. I think she's just heard and seen us as a family and me teaching so much that she just turned around and said, I don't eat sausages, not because I'm allergic, because my body doesn't like them. And I only eat the food that loves me back. And she carried on eating a jacket potato and a salad, and she was very happy with herself.
But that's incredible, because she's not even 9, is she? I mean, that is...
No, she's 9 in June.
Wow, amazing. Thanks to you. What a great mum. Really amazing.
Well, it's amazing that it's actually rubbing off, because you don't really, I've got lots of children. They have lots of different ways of eating. As I've said to you previously, we don't, I have fussy eaters. They don't eat everything we put in front of them. They question things. But because we are quite open about things and we try and give the control back to the children just to try it or to take what they want to eat, they are more open to trying things and sharing the trials and tribulations of navigating your relationship with food, which we all have from the moment we're born to the moment we leave this world.
Do you remember what your favourite foods were when you were little?
I used to eat tomatoes like an apple.
Really?
Which is really funny, because we've had a long conversation about how they make me feel now with all my joint pain.
That's incredible. Tomatoes. I saw a little girl, she was probably 7 or 8 years old, and she had various health issues going on. And she ate tomatoes like you did. She loved cherry tomatoes. She could eat whole punnetfuls of them.
Really big tomatoes, like a big apple. I used to just eat them and walk around the garden. I was a real garden girl, wellies, playing with worms, making potions, eating tomatoes.
Amazing. And I thought maybe we'd start, Katie, with phase 4, because you're telling me to the HBD lunch that was hosted by lovely Lara and Jemima.
It was fantastic. It was so lovely to meet people in person and have tangible hugs and relate to people's faces that you only see through social media. So it was a really lovely chance to really get to know people and chat about everyone's different health journeys and things that have happened. But yes, I was in that phase. So it was good to be able to talk with others that have found it not just challenging, but I think they found a dip in confidence on navigating the fluidity of it.
Yeah, it was very interesting what you said, because you said that a lot of them were saying it was their biggest challenge as far as HBD goes, much tougher in the first 2 weeks, because in the first 3 months we've got very clear rules other than treat meals, which is also
and I think the rules are just more relaxed, so they don't quite know with confidence how to navigate them for them. And I think certainly that we've spoken, that I feel very much that your health journey is very much yours. So when you get to that phase that you're having to navigate it on a personal level. So how you react to fasting for longer, or adding extra olive oil into your diet, or having bigger portions, everyone reacts differently. So there isn't as much of a guide as there is in the other stages that you talk about in your book.
No, it's quite tough. And as you said, it can feel quite isolating. You feel like you're out on a limb, you're doing your own thing, and you don't know whether you can really trust yourself, to feed yourself well and properly. But I think that, we need to learn to trust ourselves more, and to remember the lessons that our bodies taught us in the first 3 phases about what suits us and what really doesn't, and just go with it. And I think that you said, yeah.
I know that we talked about through the different phases, learning how your body reacts, and that's why there's always encouragement to food diet. I've written one for quite a long time through my poor health journey and things, but having a food diary through that last phase, or that lifelong stage, is really important, I think, because your lifestyle, your home life, your work life, your emotional life, your physical life always changes. And so being able to learn how to be flexible with your nutrition to align with that is really beneficial.
No, that's great, Katie. Thank you. Very beautifully put. And you have longer fasts, and you find that helps. I think when you're undergoing a lot of stress, that it helps.
Yeah. So if I've got a really stressful time with work, or we've got a few different businesses that we run as a family, so things can be a bit crazy here. We've got a lot of children to manage. Not all of them live here, so that is a challenge at times. And life is busy as a working mum, so I don't always I drop balls regularly in life. And so I find that if it gets too much, that I personally find a longer fast really helps. And also having a journal time emotionally to rebalance and make sure I'm mindful about my emotions, and there isn't, grabbing the biscuit tin and ramming 12 biscuits in is going to make me feel awful, and I don't want to ever mentally or emotionally get to that point.
Mm.
So I always make sure that I can journal around it, and a longer fast, or drinking more water, or a heavier fattier diet, or an extra piece of sourdough or something can help balance depending on what I'm doing. But with stress, definitely a longer fast I find supportive.
Really interesting. No, thank you for sharing that. And you also said when we talked that you've found that not eating after 7 p.m. is much better for you.
Yes, my family like to eat late, between sort of 8 and 9. And so I sort of once a week, I will go there with them. But me and my daughter like to eat early. So we tend to eat much earlier, unless it's a weekend and then I'd have a brunch, or I'm having a longer fast. So I would eat around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I won't eat again until maybe a late breakfast the next day. But generally, I'm a sort of a 6 to 7 p.m. kind of girl.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, we always used to mock the Americans, because they tend to eat between about 5 and 7. But that's what we're doing now. We feel better for it too.
Yeah, I just feel better for it. We've just recently come back from Spain, and they don't even consider going out before 9 o'clock at night, which is when I'm usually fast asleep. So I definitely find the European way of eating a lot more challenging.
A lot more challenging, yeah. The Americans are right. Yeah. Thank you for telling us. I'm sorry your advice fell on deaf ears for so long, but now we're beginning to get it. We really are. Yes. And you said you discovered HBD when you were doing a nutritional training course, and somebody there.
So I was training for my nutrition accreditation, and I was very, very sick. I have had long health issues with lung diseases and autoimmune problems through having severe chronic asthma all my life. And then I had COVID and long COVID, and then perpetual pneumonia whilst doing my nutrition. And I was in London, and one of the co-workers that I was training with me mentioned your book and that I should read it and that it might support me. And I was in the middle of seeing a private medical consultant to support me, because I was done with the NHS, and I felt I was riddled with medicine, and I'd been taking steroid tablets and orally and through inhalers and things for about 38 years without a day off. So I was really struggling, and it was juxtaposed because I was doing my nutrition and I understood the information on a personal level, and I was teaching and cooking as well. On a personal level, I was really struggling, and I was choosing between taking myself up the stairs or, lifting a washing basket up the stairs wasn't something I could do. I certainly couldn't run up a stairs. It would take me a good sort of 15, 20 minutes to manage my stairs at home.
Oh, my darling. You've really just been the ringer, haven't you? Unbelievable. Really unbelievable.
It was really challenging. And then I read your book, and I took your book to see the consultant and just said, I need to pay you to rant at you. I need help. I don't have anything that's massive, but I have no quality of life. I don't go outside when it rains. I don't ride a bike. I can't run up the stairs. I can't lift my children. I can't do a 4 weeks work. There's lots of things that I can't do, and I'm too young to have this. I didn't feel overweight ever. I've never had weight problems. I don't mind if I'm heavier. I don't mind if I'm lighter. I sort of always had this kind of wholeness because of probably my seasonal cooking and my job and running the business, but this low level of inflammation. And he said, your body is screaming, you're too inflamed, please help. And he read some of your book that I took and said, absolutely, go with it. You really need, your body really needs help. And I'm behind you on this.
Oh, isn't that lovely? And you said he really listened to you. Like,
he really listened. I was sobbing through snotty noses, crying my eyes out, hyperventilating, doing blood tests and doing his breathing test and scribbling and showing him your book. We got it was a very long afternoon with him.
Thank goodness for him, and thank goodness for the lady on the course who told you about it, because I think your initial reaction was, no, I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to go on a diet. I like food. I like eating.
I'm an eater, I'm a feeder, I love food. And it wasn't that actually I ate well. I teach mindful nutrition and seasonal cooking. It's all about what I do. But I was fully aware that my adrenals had plummeted. I was perpetually unwell to the point where I could, struggled at times to dress myself and drive somewhere. So my family were really worried, and it was clear that nothing was working. And my why was so big, nothing was going to stop me. It didn't matter how hard anything was. Nothing could be as bad as how I was feeling. I couldn't breathe. My children were phoning ambulances weekly. Something had to stop. So my why was pretty big. And I always felt like if your why is big enough, the rest actually is not that difficult.
It's easy, isn't it? Like you said, you felt so dreadful anyway that you thought, well, what's another 2 weeks of maybe feeling even worse?
Yeah. And actually, I didn't find the 2 weeks too tricky. The 8th day was hard and the 10th day was hard. But actually, the rest of that was pretty easy. I found it a little trickier in reintroducing food because of my asthma problems. I'm so sensitive to sulfites, and a lot of food reacts. When I took everything away, I just took a lot longer to introduce new foods, and the food diary and keeping it for medical reasons and for personal reasons. I took extra time over it, and I try a food for a lot longer than maybe everyone else out there would be trying it for, just to see if my reaction was really safe.
It was so moving, Katie, when you told me about your first treat meal, and you were terrified, and you took.
I was.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, because were you already beginning to feel better at the end of the 2 weeks?
Yeah, I was breathing better, and I was making the stairs on my own for the first time in quite a few years. So yeah, I was really nervous, and I took my daughter to my local's favourite seafood restaurant. My seafood is my ultimate favourite. And I thought, right, shall I really go for it? Like some people think, I'm going to have a massive lasagna, I'm going to have fish and chips or something. I thought, no, I'm just going to have a really amazing piece of fish with lots of cream. I might treat myself to a glass of Prosecco, which I did, and my daughter had a mocktail. And I took one sip of the Prosecco, and I was like, I was already gasping for air by the time I'd swallowed it.
That is incredible, really. It affected your breathing that quickly.
Instantly. And now, because I've stripped everything back, I can usually smell. I always smell my food now, and I can usually smell if I'm going to react on a breathing lung level, because I think my senses are a lot more heightened. But one taste, and I usually know as well. So
that's incredible.
It was a lovely meal. I know what I can stick to and what I can't.
Yeah. So Prosecco, obviously no good. The sulfites in wine, you have to be very careful with this.
Yeah, organic Prosecco is okay. Italian wines tend to be fine for me. Red is still a no-go zone. I love red wine, but
Yes.
it doesn't like me at all. It really upsets my gut. But I can enjoy an Italian white every now and then, or I might have half a glass of Prosecco every now and then as well. But I tend to stay clear from wine. I don't drink enormously anyway. And in the summer, I can still enjoy gin and tonic if I want one. But
yeah, that's generally safer, isn't it?
and I think being over 40 and the perimenopause, my relationship with alcohol has massively changed. I'm an enormous fan of kombucha and fermented tea and fermented drinks, or fermenting things myself and having it with some sparkling water. So I'm much more sort of interested in looking at that avenue going forward with all the perimenopausal hormonal things than I am with alcohol these days.
No, it's actually much, much better. And other things you discovered were absolutely not your friend were gluten. I think that was the biggest number one monster. Yeah, is that right?
Gluten and sugar, they are not my friends. And I don't think for many women of a certain age that are going through hormonal challenges, they aren't our friends anyway. But personally, they really impact my breathing. Lots of sugar and syrups and things bring on asthma attacks instantly. Within 10 minutes, I need support. So I'm really cautious about knowing, not having sugar, but reducing and removing all hidden sugars from my diet, and then having that knowledge and skill to build on the confidence when I am having sugar, that I know what sugar I'm eating and I know how to protect my own health through my choices.
Yeah, well, one of the choices that you shared with me was having a homemade mince pie with cream instead of custard.
Absolutely. I can't touch custard. It doesn't like me. But if I have instead of a bought mince pie when there's lots of hidden extras in it that don't like my body, making a mince pie at Christmas and having lashings of cream on it is lovely. Although dairy is not my friend, having lung issues because of the lactose in the reduction in lactose in the cream, actually it doesn't react with me as badly as cheese does.
Thank goodness. No, really, really cool. You said, Katie, that, I mean, obviously you've always understood about food and eating seasonally and, you know, realizing that it sort of has an impact on the way we feel. But at some point, I think you said that you cleared out your cupboards completely. You got rid of anything that had any kind of seed oil in it. Because you
seed oil is probably one of my biggest changes. It's something I teach a lot through my workshops and things, that it's hidden everywhere, in everything, in every single snack or thing that isn't fresh in a supermarket. Guarantee it's got a bloomin' seed oil in it. And it's not that, as you know and talk about, it's not that we can't process any of it. It's just that consistent low level ingestion of seed oils seems to build up inflammation really, really fast. And especially with me personally, it's enormously fast. And one of the biggest ones was removing stock cubes. There's no posh, cheap stock cube that hasn't got a seed oil in it. And so bone broth was a massive, massive game changer in my personal everyday life.
Thank goodness you discovered that. Yeah, amazing. So, but you make your own, I guess, bone broth and everything.
I make my own. If I don't have time, I order it. We use Freya here. Amazon is pretty brilliant. I'm pretty cross with Waitrose in the UK at the moment because they always had amazing Waitrose own bone broth that I always sent people to if they needed stock. And they've just discontinued the entire range.
The Cook's Ingredients range?
Yeah.
Oh,
the whole lot's gone on. And they've replaced it with, it looks like a beer can, and it's called Pots. And it's full of seed oils and real big nasties. And I wrote to Waitrose about it because I'm so upset.
For you, yeah. Did you get a reply?
Not yet. No, but I lots of them in the supermarket because I made them check every supermarket in the country, and they've all gone.
Oh, that's so sad.
So it's really convenient.
Yeah. Tell us again, Katie, what was the name of the bone broth that you used?
Freya, I've got one. Let me show you.
Oh, thank you.
2 seconds.
Thank you. Guess
vegetable chicken. I'm not a sponsor or an ambassador. I just love them.
Amazing. So is that Freja?
Yes, and they do chicken, vegetable, lamb, and beef, and they're just easy. I buy them in 500 mils. I think you can buy them in more. But if I haven't got time to make my own, or I just take them somewhere, or if I'm teaching, or I want to talk about them, that's usually the one I go to.
Such a good tip, Katie. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really, really good. You discovered that tomatoes, like we touched on, are real. You have to be very, very careful with them. You can have a little tiny bit now and again.
I love tomatoes, as you know, so I used to eat them as a little girl, like an apple. But I don't know whether it's the mix of my age change with the perimenopause, or it's a mixture of my autoimmune disease and lung issues. But after stripping out the foods and then reintroducing things, I have learned that any type of tomato or tomato-based sauce makes my joints incredibly painful. If I have like a tomato and meatball with greens or something for dinner, by the morning I can't make a fist.
Wow.
It's quite painful. And it's been amazing actually to see how much better I feel without any tomato-based meals in my diet. And when you raise young children, if any of you have got young children out there, for some reason, tomato-based meal seems to be a bit of a go-to in the UK to feed our children with. It's a really quick win, and we often make it with pastas and things. So I've had to think slightly differently.
No, that's tough, isn't it? Because tomato sauce is a very good vehicle for getting lots of extra, possibly hidden vegetables into our children.
Yeah. And you can do that all sorts of different things in a tomato-based sauce. So they are very useful. So but I've just tend to use like a stock-based sauce instead with vegetables, and it's absolutely fine.
Can you do red peppers?
I can do red peppers, yeah. I really enjoy them. They're no problems. Aubergines, I have to be careful. I use them as a dip rather than, I love a really heavily spiced stuffed aubergine. They're delicious, especially on the barbecue in the summer. But I would normally char it and have it and whip it up in a dip and have it sort of on a side rather than as a main dish, because I'm fully aware that the nightshades aren't always my best friend in large quantities. So I know my limits. I think that's the practice of the stages 3 and 4, being able to dip in and actually say, okay, I can eat nightshades, but I can't push it too far. And how far can I for my body to be happy and feel aligned and not complain? Yeah. So I've had to practice with those.
Yeah, no, incredible. And potatoes, because they're the other nightshade that most of us rather like, the odd potato or chip. Baked potato.
I'm Jim. I know that with the breathing, sometimes a sweet potato can be funny, but actually, I'm okay with a sweet potato. And a lot of the time, like we've spoken about in the Greeks before, about using butternut squash or pumpkin as chips or as that sort of go-to potato feel. So for me, because I don't feel like lots of people say, "Oh, don't you feel like you're missing out? When you're going to stop doing this?" Like, well, I'm not, because I feel well, and I don't ever want to feel that poorly ever again. And I know that if I align my nutrition with my health goals and how I want to feel in myself, I'm not missing anything. I'm just living my best life, and everybody else can as well. So I never feel like I'm missing out for a massive going to the chip shop. It's not something that I crave.
No. And did you say that you'd stop the steroids altogether now after?
Yeah. So almost 2 years, I have had no steroids for nearly 2 years. The consultants can't believe it. They're desperate to try and get me back on them from a pharmaceutical point of view. But no, I have had no steroids for nearly 2 years. It's been utterly life-changing.
That is so fabulous.
And from the steroids, it's had I didn't realise when I was a child that having a long relationship with steroids gives you early arthritis, and I have it in lots of places, unfortunately. And I had to have hip surgery about 18 months to 2 years ago, and that really impacted my relationship with food, my relationship with my body, my mental health, because I couldn't understand how I was so young, and I had to have these hip surgeries, and I still need 2 new hips, but they have restored me somewhat. But it was a huge side effect of how many steroids I've been eating, and learning how to reduce inflammation to be able to support hip rotation and support physical well-being has been a journey personally that I've had to walk, and I've been able to take you along with me, Petronella.
Thank you, Katie. Well, it's very nice to be taken along with you. Thank you so much. And do they hurt now, your hips?
No, generally not. I still feel like when the winter is quite bad, I definitely crave sunshine on my bones. I'm 42, but actually I seem to have a body of about 20 or 30 years older. So I've had to learn how to support that. I have lots of saunas, are very helpful. And I also use my son's boxing trainer to support my rehabilitation with hip rotation and core strength back into it. And actually mentally, the boxing really helped. And it was something that I never thought I'd ever do, but I'm pretty good at, turns out.
Well done, you. I mean, you might have the body of somebody who's older, but your face looks much younger. So nobody knows. Yeah. The body's incredible, isn't it? As a self-healing organism, and given its chances, so much can be turned around and improved on, and so much healing takes place. And you're doing.
I just think it's incredible that it is testament. I know it is. I teach that it is. I've learned, studying wise that it is, but using myself as a case study for my nutrition, using your book, using being able to have the support through the community that you've created, and being able to weave some of that into my work to be able to help others and shine a light it's been incredible. Like, it really is just about eating the food that loves you back. There isn't a secret.
Yeah.
It's just eating the food that loves you back.
That's what your little daughter would say, right?
Yeah, that's what my daughter says all the time to everybody. Even today, she was off school because she had temperature in the night, and we were repotting some seeds in the garden, and she said, "Mummy, it's so mindful, isn't it? I love the way it just relaxes you, and we're making food. How amazing is that?" And I was like, "I love you so much. I can't believe it's coming out of you."
So exciting. Are you going to get her cooking with you?
Yes, we do. In lockdown especially, she had her school mates, and they had a little cook along each week. And she's desperate to come along to my... I've just started creeping into teaching some children in the holidays. I mainly do adults and corporate workshops, but I've been asked quite a lot recently, and I got some funding to help some teenagers. So I am starting to help, and she's desperate to come and help do workshops.
I bet she is, and she's brilliant, isn't she? She's so inspiring. There's a lovely message here for you, Katie, from HBDB, BEE. This is so inspirational. I have chronic lung inflammation and other autoimmune diseases and have been on steroids continuously 5 years. So what would you say to HBDB, Katie?
Your corner. I had a bit of a 2 and 8 relationship with my lung consultant, and I chose to see someone privately, external from my kind of every 3 to 6 months world, because I felt unheard, and I knew that there was another way. And I'm not saying that everybody will be off steroids, but I was willing to trial it, and they eventually were willing to trial me on a 3-month basis. That I still had my medication on me and with me all the time, but I was able to reduce it to the point where I didn't have to take it. And they're still keen for me to take it, and they are fighting for me to take it, but I haven't needed to do that. So I would always listen to medical advice, but there are lots of varieties of medical advice. And I think sometimes we need to explore the variety more than the person that you've always dealt with. And I felt that it was quite important. There's a trust level, and I've built up with him. I've known him all my life. But there was something that said there is something missing. And turning down that inflammation was an enormous part of being able to reduce the steroids that I have. I still careful. February to April are my worst months. I'm always in hospital for those 3 months. And for the last 2 years, I haven't been for the first time in my life. And that is down to reducing that inflammation. But I am pretty strict. I don't think, it doesn't matter, I'll have a couple of glasses of wine, or it doesn't matter, I'll just have, a bowl of chips and some potatoes every other day, and then I'll have a drink. I'm pretty strict because I know the accumulation has the impact. It's not on that day always, like the tomatoes has an impact on the day. It's the accumulation of it that has the impact if you have breathing or inflammation issues, for me, definitely.
Well, and same with gut issues, I guess. It's that slow poisoning, isn't it? The drip, drip, drip. Whereas,
and the gluten for me, it's evil on the gut. It's not fun at all. And I wanted to mention something. I can't remember that lady's handle. She was asking about lentils and why red lentils always make her feel really unhappy gut-wise. And I have exactly the same thing. Red lentils and me are not friends. I've tried it and I make the dal recipe loads, but I cannot make it with red lentils. It will not sit with me at all, but I can with green lentils. But if she also, I've realized lately that if you can't digest whole lentils very well, that sprouting them and using them in a sprouting way, although it isn't for dal, but using them in a sprouting way really helps the gut and digest them a bit easier if you can't have a whole lentil.
That's great advice. Thank you so much, Pete.
Sprout all your beans and peas and everything. They have about 20% more nutrition, and they are absolutely delicious and fun to make as well.
Fun to make, and for the kiddies.
Yeah, yes, super fun. But if you can't digest lentils, maybe that's another way that you can look into it. But I'm always looking at issues, with the red lentils thing. It's everyone's go-to on here, but unfortunately, it's not my friend.
No. What about chickpeas?
Chickpeas are fine, fava beans are fine, cannellini beans are fine, just red lentils.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you don't do well with unless they're cooked or processed.
I can't, we always talk about buying the biggest apple you can, having it every day. That is not my friend either. There is some people where it irritates the gut slightly, and that is definitely the case for me. But if I cook them, not with anything, I just stew them maybe with a tablespoon of water so they don't burn, and maybe a sprinkling of cinnamon is quite nice. So I usually do that.
Yeah, no, that's great, isn't it? Cinnamon helps almost everything. The first time I ever had cinnamon in a savoury dish was with Lara, and I went down and we were sort of discussing, because Lara and I worked together.
Yeah.
HBD and, what we were sort of thinking about in the future. And she cooked this amazing linguine with bolognese with cinnamon in, and it was delicious.
Yeah, so we have on our chilies, and we have a lot of cinnamon in our chili that we make, and very gut friendly. And all our curries have lots of turmeric in that really helps with their anti-inflammatory and things. Tonight we have a baked smoked haddock with spinach.
Nice, very nice, delicious. Yum. We get different fish here. I mean, I haven't seen haddock, I haven't seen mackerel, but we get things like mahi and tuna and swordfish, which I don't really do because of the mercury.
Yeah.
Unless, they're very small fish, because as you know, the mercury accumulates in the big fish.
It does. And you never have tuna, even on a salad occasionally?
I do. There's a brand here which is called Safe Catch, and that's guaranteed to have the lowest possible amount of mercury. But I don't have it often, even then. Yeah. Because it's very toxic.
Someone has mentioned about cinnamon and UTIs. I'm really interested in that because I have a tendency for UTIs. I don't know if it's inflammation based. And I wonder if cinnamon does react like that. That's interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm definitely going to find out. I don't know your name, but I'll find you on the comments and I'll find out because I'd like to know more about that because I do often have UTI issues. I wonder if it's overconsumption of cinnamon.
We're always talking about silver linings in life, and you could hardly say that what you've been through is any kind of silver lining, but it did make you take your health and the recovery of your health, which you're enjoying now, very much more seriously. And like you said, you knew that you never, ever, ever wanted to feel the way you felt again. And I can't imagine what it's
never.
Yeah.
I don't think my family ever wanted me to feel that way again either, because it was taking a family, like the entire extended family, to help support with me and the children, and just on a work level, not being able to have a full life, it was just not possible. So to be able to I feel like I'm a 2-year-old adult at the moment because I feel well for the very first time. And I feel like actually I can think about growing my business and I can help more people and I can help support, growing people's confidence in the kitchen and doing more. And I don't feel as afraid. And I think the fear in not living a long life when you're a young mum of many children is scary and real. And I never felt like I was going to be able to give anything back to the world or make a good business or give what I had stuck in me out somewhere or write a book or whatever I'm going to do, raise my children. And now I feel like I've got so many more years back that I can actually start to believe in a future that is long and healthy and vibrant and full. And I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but when it's like some of the people will know that when you have such big health issues, anything outside that just feels totally impossible.
Yeah. Horrible.
So I do feel like you've literally transformed my life.
I mean, you've literally touched the edges of life more than once, haven't you? But you've come back. And
Yes. COVID really pushed me, and the pneumonia really pushed me, and asthma really pushed me to the point where I've signed lots of medical forms to say, whether they could bring me back or not, or tube me or not, all sorts of things. And I never want to be there again. And I'm not, thankfully. I'm feeling super well, and I get to help and support other people look at their seasonal, nutrition and raising a full and happy life again, which is amazing.
Amazing. And I think we'd all love to come on a cookery course with you. It sounds really fun and fabulous.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and especially if your little girl will be there too.
I know, she'll be championing me on.
So cute, just so lovely. So what was the last treat meal that you had? Do you remember?
I had a curry. We are a massive spice family. Also, the spice with inflammation, I have to be careful. But I know how to balance spice rather than too much heat. Yeah. A spiced curry. But I don't really like a treat meal. We still tend to cook at home most of the time. And I don't like to go out too much unless I really know where I'm going or what I'm having. And I haven't really got back into trusting restaurants again yet. I think the speedballs is a massive thing.
It's a massive thing, isn't it?
Massive. And it's not that I don't want to share a meal and enjoy it. Yeah. It's just that I know that it'll make me unwell. So if I'm going out with friends, I'd rather choose a lunch. Yeah. And that's quite a big one for me than a dinner, because I know if I'm going to react, I have time and my body has time to overcome it before I have to go through a whole evening of being unwell. So yeah, I love a curry. I really enjoy it.
They don't use ghee anymore, do they? Indian restaurants, I think.
So we've got a southern Indian restaurant here, and I've been to Kerala and all around southern India, and it's a very heavily vegetable based, very heavily spiced, lots of fish, and I really like the way they cook. So I have found places that I can go to and enjoy, or I found dishes that I'm happy to have in front of others. So yeah, but often it's a treat meal at home would just be a nice big roast dinner or something.
Yeah, I think that's a real treat.
Lots of cream in my coffee, or
that's a weekly.
Yeah, in my coffees are really I just feel like it's the weekend as soon as that happens.
And what time of day do you have it?
Usually, so I usually have, as I said, treat meals are generally daytime for me. And so on a Saturday brunch or a Sunday brunch or lunch or something.
They're really nice. Nice to have something really, really lovely that you really enjoy to look forward to.
I so enjoy it. It's the most exciting thing. And the radio goes on in the kitchen and we make a nice brunch. And it's a really big family time for us as well, especially if they're back from uni or they're home. It's just an open table where we chat and tease each other and talk about our week and talk about doing crosswords and, just a family time of being together. And I love that Saturday brunch feeling.
That's heavenly, isn't it? You said your table has always been a super safe space. Anybody can talk about anything and they know that,
Yeah, it is a super safe place. And you will, we're a bit of a teasing family. There's lots of funny colloquialisms and things, but it's a really safe space. And everyone knows that they can bring their friends around, they'll get fed. Everyone gets fed in this house. So they don't need to ask if friends need to come for tea or, if they can stay. They just come.
They just come.
Anyone can be come and fed anytime.
That's so lovely. Debbie Matthew, a message for you, Katie says, incredibly inspirational on so many levels.
Oh, thank you so much.
But you're amazing coming on here. I know it's a bit, I don't know how you felt about it, but, the idea can be a bit daunting and it's like, it's like personal stuff as well. So
yeah, and I know we've talked about it. I do lots of sort of lives and cookery classes and things. So talking to people and meeting new people is really lovely. But being this vulnerable is not something I'm used to at all. everything quite on a professional level. And through the workshops, I do share certain personal journeys with people, but I've never ever shared this with anyone. So however many people are watching and are seeing this, you are getting a first from me.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So many lovely messages.
I met someone at the lunch and we were talking about my breathing and my asthma, and I'd never met anyone that had chronic asthma before in my world. And she just said, thank you so much for sharing, because she found it really inspiring. And I just thought, actually, I need to be braver about talking about my personal health issues and my things that I've overcome, because maybe it will help someone and spur people on and inspire people to know that nutrition can really support your health goals or where you're trying to get to, and renew yourself so you actually have more energy and a new improved sort of health, because it really has just transformed my life, being able to rebalance and realign my nutrition to sort my health out.
Thank God for that. I'm so pleased. You're inspiring so many people. There's a message from Claire and Claude as well, saying so encouraging and so inspiring. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So well done you for bravely coming out with it and just saying. Yeah. No, it's
keep writing books.
It's a real.
I need to write a book.
We're looking forward to your book very much indeed. Yeah.
Good.
Also, for anybody else who's just happened across this live, it's this book. It's The Human Being Diet, the 2nd edition. And please don't start HBD until you've read it at least once. Very, very, very well.
Read it. I've got notes and sticky notes and underlining bits and scribbles next to it and highlighting bits.
They're really, really cool. It's so important, isn't it? Otherwise, you're just, blindly following rules and you're thinking, well, this seems a bit random, but okay.
Don't follow a crowd when you don't know why you're doing something. Your why is your biggest asset.
It is. I love that.
It's huge.
Your why is your biggest asset. I love that. Thank you.
You really need to read the book and really need to start a food journal. You need to know where you're at now to know where you're going to be. It's really important.
Yeah, really, really. Well said. Well said, Katie. Thank you.
And it's a great book. Oh, you'll love reading it. Literally doesn't take a minute. As soon as you start reading, you'll just ignore the rest of the world until you finish.
Thank you so much, Katie. Have you got it on your phone as well? Did you get the Kindle?
No, I haven't actually. Someone else mentioned it the other day, and I thought I should get it.
Well, you don't need to, because you're advanced class, but it means that you can look up what a word that you want to find, which isn't
that's really
handy
having it like that.
Yeah, and then it's on your phone with you all the time.
And then I suppose if it's on a Kindle version, it's quite easy to share with others via your phone too, to be able to promote it or to be able to explain what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jem says, interested to know if others have sustained a gentler approach to exercise since starting HBD, or have reintroduced high impact after first. So don't reintroduce high impact, definitely not after the first 2 weeks. Ideally, you really want to keep it mild. You want to spend as much time in the parasympathetic arm of the nervous system, as opposed to the sympathetic, which is the...
You won't have the energy to exercise the first 2 weeks.
Anyway, no, exactly. So take it really, really easy. Really, it's a case of choosing one or the other. Do you want to lose weight or improve your health, or do you want to exercise? You can't really do both at the same time.
Walking was my best friend, and it still is. Walking. Yeah, when you feel like you need to do something and you're not moving enough within the first 2, 3, 4 weeks, walking was really beneficial mentally. It was good for breath work. It was good to clear my mind. It was good to keep me busy if I found a day tricky. Walking is great alternative.
Yeah, beautifully well put and well said. Thank you so much, Katie. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Talking to me, inviting me to do this. It's been so exciting.
We're so grateful to you. Thank you. I mean, what you've achieved. I mean, not making claims for HBD, but making claims for the curative power of natural, minimally processed, fresh food is
removing ultra-processed foods, eating mindfully with the right, arming yourself with the right knowledge. That gives you confidence to really believe in your why and make changes, and your book really supports that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Katie.
Keep going. If you're in whatever phase you're in, if you're even just buying the book and reading it and you've just downloaded it on your Kindle, just keep going. But it's your journey. Make it very personal to you. Just it's really key that you don't copy your best friend or a colleague at work. Your journey is so specific to you.
It is. And can I just repeat what you said, because it was so brilliant? Your why is your biggest asset. Yes.
Yeah. Your why is your biggest asset. So you must know it.
Yeah. So I hope everybody heard that, especially any newbies, because I think we're being joined by newbies all the time, which is really exciting.
If people were just joined, your why is your biggest asset.
Love it. Really, really love it. Thank you so much, Katie. Really, really appreciate you coming.
No, it's just beautiful to spend time with you and chat.
Yeah, well, I hope to meet you in real life one of these days. Yeah, and
absolutely.
And your little daughter as well. She sounds such a character.
Well,
so lovely.
Very chatty. So I warned you.
She obviously feels pretty darn good.
She does. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, really love talking to you.
See you soon.
See you soon. Lots of love.
Lots of
Thank
love.
you.
Take care. Bye.